Donald Trump is president. Whether you like it or not, you still got to get to the money. So by the end of today's video, I'm going to give you the blueprint on how you could take advantage of his presidency. Why should you listen to me? So I'm going to give you a 3-step framework, and this involves focusing on business funding. I've used business funding to do things like make $27,500 in a day. I made $20,000 in a day and more. And it's not just me. I've taught people how to do the same thing so that they can be making similar amounts. That's why you should listen to me. So watch the entire video. Like I said, I'm gonna give you the 3-step framework on how to take advantage of Donald Trump's presidency. So we're gonna go from A to Z. I wanna give you the reality as well when it comes to business funding. We're doing the whole A to Z, like I said. So you gotta realize credit is very, very important. If you don't know already, credit is what rules the world. Credit is everything. So I don't want to just stop at just talking about business funding. I want to talk about the skill of credit as well, with the consumer laws, all that. If you're new to me, I teach about that as well. But we're focused on the business funding. So step number 1, it's a 3-step process. Step number 1, what we need to do is focus on structure. What do I mean by structure? How do we structure a well built out profile, right? And this is my 3S method. So it's gonna be 3 S's. So watch the entire video. Structure, we gotta make sure we structure the credit profile correctly, right? So some of y'all may be in a situation or situations where you have negative items on your credit. Let's say you have a collection, for example. You wanna look at the FDCPA, the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. 15 USC 1692, write that down. 15 USC 1692 G in particular. That's a debt validation law, right? So that's a law you want to be familiar with. Let's say you got any other item of information. You want to focus on the FCRA, the Fair Credit Reporting Act. 15 USC 1681 is the code. The specific code you want to focus on to dispute any item of information. 15 USC 1681 I A1A. Right, look it up and just do some self-research on it. I got multiple videos covering topics about it. If you're new to watch them and you're just like, he's quoting these laws, I don't know if it's real, go ahead and Google what I'm saying. So 15 USC 1681 I A1A will help you dispute any item of information. So you're requesting a reinvestigation. Reinvestigation meaning that the credit bureaus were supposed to already do an investigation before they put the items on your credit report in the first place. Spoiler alert, all credit reports are gonna have issues. So you just gotta point it out and enforce your rights, right? So this is still step number 1. When we talk about the structure, let's say we got all the negative items deleted already, right? Because I got multiple videos for that. I even got like a monthly community, but you can get a 7-day trial. I'll put the link in the description if you need the credit repair help. But this is more so for the people that wanna be making thousands upon thousands of dollars per client funding them, right? So structure. We want to make sure we have at least a 700, I'd say 720 credit score. They say minimum is 680, but you really want to maximize what you're doing. One thing we got to be aware of is that if we stick to minimum, we're going to get minimum results. Minimum is for losers. I've always said that minimum leads to minimum results, right? You don't want to be minimum. If you're watching my channel, you're that next level person, right? You're going to take advantage of this presidency. People could complain. People could be happy. It don't matter. At the end of the day, you still got them bills to pay, and you just got to understand, take advantage of the moment. And right now is a very great, pivotal time to take advantage of the moment. One of the reasons why I do like business funding as well, before we continue, is it's one of those industries where anyone can get into it and every business owner needs it. Yeah, people could be like, oh, I could just go apply online and get funding, and yeah, it's true, but are you going to maximize and get those high limits, right? That's one of the issues too when it comes to business funding. Some people don't know how to maximize and get high limit approvals. So when they see my students getting stuff like a $50,000 Chase Limit credit card, $75,000 Chase Limit credit card, and they're looking at themselves like they just got 5 to 10K limit, that's an issue, right? If you solve issues, you're gonna be rich. You're gonna take advantage of this presidency. So keep that in mind. We wanna have minimum at least 720 or your client, when you're setting it up. And then you want to have no negative items, right? So if you have negative items, I gave you 2 laws that you want to use. 15 USC 1681 I A1A and the Fair Credit Reporting Act to request a reinvestigation of any item of information. You send out a letter, you're going to see some of the stuff begin to fall off because they're not doing no investigation. And then if you got any collections, 15 USC 1692G in the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, right? You could dive deeper and stuff, but those will definitely help you get started. 15 USC 1681 EB, maximum possible accuracy. You want to look that up as well. You can combine that with the 1681I, the investigation section. But yeah, we've handled that. We've used the consumer laws. Now we have no negative items. And one reason why you want to be well versed in the consumer laws as well is you want to maximize the amount of clients you can even get too. Because what if you're in a situation where you got a client, they got maybe one collection or a couple hard inquiries to remove. Now they're going to someone else that, like myself, that know the laws, and then now they're getting funded by them. So you don't want to just be a one-trick pony and only know how to do the business funding. If you can know the consumer laws as well to do the credit repair part, that'd be ideal. And if you're a credit repair business owner, you've been tired of dealing with these cheap clients in credit repair, this is a perfect opportunity for you. With this new presidency that we're getting. The reality, y'all know Trump is a business owner. So if you don't have a business already, it would be in your best interest to start that business. So we're going to get into it later. So structure, continuing, at least a 720 is what I would recommend. People say 680, but I say, we want to maximize what we're doing. You want to have at least 2 personal credit cards. 2 personal credit cards. What do we want these credit card limits to be? Ideally, we want them to be at least 10,000, but if they could be 5,000, that's cool. People say, minimum 2,500. Yeah, we've gotten people funded with that, but it doesn't mean that you're always going to maximize the funding, right? So that's part of the structure as well. You want to have, I recommend at least 7 positive reporting accounts, open accounts. So primaries, I'm not talking about throwing trade lines on there. You can put trade lines, but it's not going to be the majority of the weight. These banks are getting stingier and stingier as the day goes by. Who knows what's going to happen during this presidency too. So keep that in mind, right? The next thing you want to be aware of is, I would say, no more than 3 to 4 hard inquiries per bureau. So keep that in mind as well. And one thing I'll say about the credit cards, they should be open at least 6 months. You don't want it to be just like a new personal credit card. You just got this new credit card. Now all of a sudden you go and apply for the business funding because it might not work in your favor. You're looking thirsty. You know what I'm saying? So the banks are going to look at you like you thirsty. So you don't want to look at like you thirsty, right? So I've seen people in that situation. They're just like, I got my personal funding. Now let me go get the business funding. I'm not saying that it's not possible, but I'm going to say that you will look thirsty, right? That's going to bring me to my next point. I've spoken with my bank relationship managers about this, right? As far as people looking thirsty, applying after they just got a new credit card, that kind of thing. Sometimes they're asking, the bank relationship managers, sometimes they're asking for 3 months of personal credit card statements. So if you just got approved, how are you going to provide that? You know what I'm saying? So keep that in mind as well. So my next point is, in order to actually maximize the business funding that you're going to get, I definitely recommend that you work with the bank relationship manager. And in terms of how to actually establish a relationship with the bank relationship manager, I can get into it. There's nuances and stuff like that. Should I say this? Should I not say that? I'm going to be teaching a free class. I'll leave the link in the description. You can go ahead and attend it. I'll go more in depth on there. But basically, you want to look at it like you're knowing someone in the party, right? Because if you know someone in the party or you're getting recommended, that's going to be a better intro versus not, right? Like, a lot of y'all that's watching me as dudes, right? So let's say you're a dude, you're trying to approach a girl. Would you get better results if you had a homegirl that knew her that like co-signed you, or if you just cold approached her, right? The obvious answer, you're going to get better results with the co-sign. So look at it like that, right? When you work with a bank relationship manager, what you're basically doing is you're getting that co-sign. And the bank is going to feel a little bit safer, because when you're working through DocuSign, like Chase Bank, for example, I recommend you focus on Chase Bank as well, because they're giving out high limits at the time I'm recording this. So Chase Bank, for example, what they're going to do is, if you work with a bank relationship manager, so what you'll do is you'll work through a DocuSign. So you fill it out, or the client fill it out. And if you have a good bank relationship manager, if you establish that connection, you can request your limits. They work directly with the underwriter, right? And it goes back to knowing the specific structure and how to actually strategically fill out the application. So keep that in mind. One reality I'll say, of business funding is it's not just everything's just sweet like that. Sometimes people have good data points, but the difference maker is having that bank relationship manager, right? So that's why I encourage you to establish that relationship, because that might be the difference maker that you need to get that high limit approval. Remember, it's not only just about getting approved, but getting a high limit approval is what we're actually looking for as well, right? Because with this business model, if you're new to it, a lot of the standard thing is to charge 10% of what you get the client with no upfront fee. You could run your business however you run it, but that's basically industry standard. If you're talking with clients, they're gonna be familiar, usually, if they worked with the funding company before, 10% success fee. So if you're over here, you got no relationships, you're just applying online everywhere, just getting $2,000 to $5,000 limits, you're not gonna make a lot of money, right? If you wanna get $5,000 per client, you need to be getting these 50K limits and knowing the structure and strategy of how to go and do it. So one of the big things about structure too, that I want y'all to be aware of before we go to the next S. One of the big things about structure is really understanding how your business is classified, your risk, right? Are you in a low risk industry? Are you in a high risk industry? High risk industry example is basically trucking, right? An example of a low risk industry could be marketing, could be consulting. So you got to just figure out how you're structured, because let's say you're in a high risk industry. If you were going to get that $50,000 card, the fact that you're in a high risk industry, now the bank's going to be like, maybe we'll hit them with maybe $10,000, $20,000 limit, And I'm just using that as a reference. I don't know the exact amount of points you'll be docked off, but keep that in mind. One thing about structure as well, do you look professional? What kind of email do you have? You want to have a professional email. So when I say you want to have a professional email, I'm not saying have johnnypants123@yahoo.com or whatever nonsense email you created when you was a youngin', right? If you're a business owner, you got to present yourself like a business owner. Think about it from the perspective of these banks. They don't want to loan or lend out to somebody that's not serious, right? So you want to have your business email. Michael@catactics.com, right? That's my business. So that's a professional email. Funding@catactics.com, right? So that's a professional email. So keep that in mind, right? Also having a 1-800 number, you want to have that as well. You want to have your website, that's optional. It's not mandatory, but I would have a website and have it related to the NACES code, or how you're classified. That's what they call the NACES code. So have it related to that, just to be on the safe side. And yeah, just really, the business address as well. You don't want to, I wouldn't use your house. I wouldn't recommend that. So go get a registered agent address, and that'll help you begin maximizing your business funding. So that's basically on structure. There's more things I'll go into it, but I don't want to make this video too long. I don't want y'all to get bored. So next thing you want to focus on is a strategy, right? How is your strategy as far as going to go ahead and do the funding? So one of the biggest things, which is what I kind of already talked about, is working with a bank relationship manager. So at the apex of your strategy, I would look at, okay, let me prioritize my bank relationship manager relationships. So with us, with our sequence, we know Chase Bank, we have a bank relationship manager. The same bank relationship manager that's allowed my students to get these $50,000, $75,000 approvals, and myself as well, right, with my clients. So I say that to say, focus on establishing the bank relationship manager as much as you can. If you don't got any, the next tier of what we're gonna go to, we're gonna focus on current relationships. What current relationships do you or the client have, right? Are they with Altura Credit Union? Are they with Arrowhead Credit Union, Are they with Navy Federal Credit Union, right? Like one hack too. I won't say hack, but one thing people know, Navy Federal Credit Union pulls TransUnion, right? So on the business side, they pull Experian. So that's a pretty easy thing to go ahead and establish. For those of y'all that know about Experian hard inquiries, just call and get it removed. It should be gone within 24, 72 hours. So that's just a little tip there for y'all as well. So with your strategy, you just got to figure out what works for you. And one of the realities too, because I don't want to come on here and just act like everything's just super sweet, everything's super easy. I've seen how people on social media, they've over exaggerated how the process is. I don't know if that's due to lack of information or if they're just marketing, but it's not always just straightforward like that, right? Sometimes you may get denied. Sometimes you may get low limits, so just keep that in mind, right? Even if you do got the data points, that's what it is. One of the biggest things with strategy too, I always tell people, call the reconsideration line. It don't matter. I don't care if you got a $50,000 limit. Call them and request more, right? What's the worst that could happen? No. What does no stand for? Next opportunity. I bet. Wait for the next approval. Call them again. No. What does that mean? Okay, next opportunity. What does now stand for? No opportunity wasted. So you want to call them ASAP. You want to call them now. Don't waste time. Get on it ASAP, right? So this is all part of our strategy. This is how you maximize getting your big business funding approvals, right? This is how you have a bulletproof strategy so that you could start and turn into a business and go ahead and be funding other people. And then you take advantage of the fact that, Trump is the president, whether you like him or you don't like him. You take advantage of it. You're running that business. You're making money. You're stimulating the economy by hiring people, putting people in position. So that's basically structure is the first S. Strategy is the second one. The last S is start. Starting your own funding company, starting your own funding business, right? If you want more information on everything I've been talking about, like I said, click the link in the description, attend the next free class I'm gonna be teaching. I'm gonna go more in depth than what I'm going on over here. There's only so much you can say on YouTube. But starting your own funding company, right? So you wanna get your LLC, obviously, and you don't gotta do it right away, but because I don't want that to be a limiting factor for y'all. But you wanna go ahead and get that so that you're an actual business, This goes back to what I said in the beginning as far as, Trump being president now. You want to run a business, right? We're getting to the point. I've seen some statistics. I'm damn near stuttering. No, I'm just playing. But I've seen some statistics. It said, I think it said by 2027, or was it 2026? I don't remember. It said like 70%-ish of people are going to have like a side hustle or freelance or something. So people are transitioning towards business, right? The rich are getting richer. The poor are getting poorer. Poor people are going to be living in the worst living conditions by 2026. I'm telling you, by 2026, 2027. So the reality is you've got to take action now. What did I say now stands for? No opportunity wasted. Now stands for no opportunity wasted. No stands for next opportunity. So you need to take advantage of that no. You need to take advantage of now. Right? You have to take action now. No opportunity wasted. We don't leave no opportunity on the table. You're literally watching this video. Start that damn funding company. Start that funding side hustle. Figure out your sequence, right? I want to also emphasize the power of the one thing. I think it's Gary Keller. Go ahead and read that book. The one thing, focusing on one thing. What's your one thing? Is that one bank that you're gonna know like the back of your hand and get people funded time and time again, getting $5,000 per client? Is that going to be one credit bureau? Are you just going to focus solely on Experian banks like American Express, Chase Bank, stuff like that? Are you going to focus on a different one thing? What is your one thing? You got to figure that out. That's going to help you when you're starting your business. One thing too, no pun intended. One thing too that's distinguished our business is our mission, right? Do you have a mission? Most of these funding companies, if you look around, they just gonna be like, oh, we get 50 to 250K and 0% interest. That's cool, but what is your mission? Why are you doing this, right? If you've been watching me, you know our mission. Our mission is to help fund $1 billion to small business owners. I've literally been on consultation calls with people that said that they like the mission. They rock with it, right? So this goes back to if you've read The Purple Cow, how do you stand out, right? Are you going to stand out with the mission? And now I'm talking about the marketing side of things, how you're going to get clients, right? So we can get deeper into the case studies and stuff like that. But this is how you start the business, right? Start that LLC. You don't got to start it right away, but start it at some point because you want to be classified as a business because you're going to be making a lot of money. You're possibly going to be making a lot of money. I want to come on here with the reality. It's not going to be guaranteed money right away or anything, but it's possible if you put in the work. I've been funding people since 2021. That's when I started. I didn't have the start like y'all did, right? I didn't have the blueprint. I didn't have the mentors like that to, point me in the right direction like that. I invested in mentorship, but it was all over the place. I'm telling y'all and teaching y'all, focus on this one thing, right? Just focus on this. Don't do that SMMA. Don't do that drop shipping. Don't do all that stuff that you were doing that wasn't doing well. Fund those people. Write down all the failed side hustles you've done and then think about it. Do these people need money? Chances are they probably do. If it's a business that they're looking to grow or scale, they're going to need money. Now you're the plug. Go get them the funding. Watch them go do it by themselves and get baby limits. And then watch what you do when you implement what I said. You got the bank relationship managers. You're focusing not just on having those minimum, stuff, right? You're focusing on the structure. You're focusing on your strategy. Most importantly, you're focusing on starting the business, right? So remember, just as a recap, structure, strategy, start the damn business. Structure, strategy, start the damn business. The rich are going to get richer. The poor are going to get poorer. You got to do what you got to do if you want to get to the next level. And hopefully this video is helpful. Share it with somebody that's want to make money during this presidency, that wants to make money, anytime. If you're working a scamming ass 9 to 5, I've been there. I used to work as a chemical engineer. It was a well-paid 9 to 5, I know, right? But I wanted my freedom, and business funding, this is a skill that helped me do it. It's helped me teach people that have left their 9 to 5 as well. So with that being said, I'm going to leave links in the description if you want to attend the next free funding class I'll teach, or if you want to just tap into resources. With that being said, y'all have a blessed one.